The father archetype is an embodiment of masculine maturity, responsibility, and self accountability. Let's talk about this archetype today. If you don't know me, my name is Alina and I'm a mindset and energy coach. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Soon I'll publish my ebook Masculine Archetypes, which will help you to embody your true masculine nature. The father archetype symbolizes power, strength, every feature a man gains when he becomes a father. That's why this archetype has this name. When a man embodies this archetype through the positive aspects, again, he's really responsible. He's really mature, maybe for his age. It doesn't matter if he's father or not, but usually when men step into the role of a father, they gain this archetype. The same works with women and the mother archetype as well. But anyway, it doesn't matter usually because some men are mature from a really young age because they take a lot of responsibility on their shoulders. Therefore, they become responsible not for themselves only, but they're responsible for other people, for their life in general, their decisions, and so on. And this type of mindset brings them the life they want because they understand the responsibility. They understand that if I want to live this type of life, I'm responsible for this, no one else. And for example, if you have an issue with this type of mindset, you have to unleash this archetype within yourself. Plus, I would recommend to look more into the king archetype as well. And because of this type of mindset, they are really great leaders. They are leaders at their work, or they are usually their own bosses, CEOs. They're great fathers, like really great, because they understand responsibility, what it is exactly. They are responsible, self accountable. They understand it fully, that's like one of the biggest traits of the man with this archetype, if it's a leading one as well. And because people feel that they can rely on them, they get this role of a CEO, of a boss, of someone who leads. And how to not mix it with the king archetype? Well, the king archetype has the father archetype within, plus the warrior. So the father archetype is in the core of the king archetype, but the king archetype has more facets. That's the difference. And if a woman in a relationship with this type of man and he has this archetype as a positive one, she feels like she can rely on him. She feels safe with him. She can trust him because she feels safe with him. And that's why this type of men are really successful in their relationship too. They understand what responsibility is. They are responsible, protective. They are leaders, providers, because it's natural for them. That's why they're successful both at work and in their relationship too. But if we're talking about a man with this archetype through the negative aspects, there are two options. The first option, when a man has, for example, only this archetype. So therefore, he doesn't have enough balance. And that's why a man with this archetype becomes too controlling, too abusive, too protective, not like in a good way, more like in an abusive way. Like he would ask you like, where are you like all the time? And if you're a woman, like how are you dressed and so on, like it's not okay. He becomes really, really oppressive because again, amount of this responsible masculine energy within him. So that's why he needs balance through the other archetypes that exist. Plus, because of the amount of this energy, they do not feel, the taste of life. What do I mean by that? They have issues with experiencing enjoyment from life. Like, to slow down, to live in the moment, like to look around, to be like grateful, and so on. Why is that? Because the father archetype symbolizes an inner parent. There are three main ego states in you, psychologically saying. And one of them is your inner parent. So an inner parent is a total explanation of the father archetype in men and the mother archetype in women. And when there's like a lot of this energy, you would feel a lot of tension. you would feel like you were like too responsible for everything, and you can't just enjoy life, because for this you need your inner child, and they have issue with balancing their inner child in them. And we'll talk about this later. The other facet, the father in the negative, is about immature father. What do I mean by that? This type of men, they know they can become fathers, like the father archetype, but they do not take responsibility because they do not step into this role fully. But they have this archetype naturally again. That's why they create a lot of tension. Like people look at them and they don't understand, like, you're supposed to be this, but you're this, like for example, the prince archetype, and it just, this type of man, they feel like they're not in peace with themselves. So that's why they need to raise this archetype in them. And how to do so, how to balance this archetype. For a man with the first case, I recommend to work on your inner children, because you will finally see the colors in your life. And if you have this archetype as a leading one and it's in the positive, doesn't matter, still work on your inner child. That's really, really important for you, because it would create balance within your state. In the other case, when we are dealing with the immature father, it's the opposite for you. You have to start take more responsibility in your life. And I don't care what it'll be about. Maybe it's about your life just in general, like your work, your income. Maybe it will be about a woman. I really recommend for a man to date a woman, like at least to date. I'm not talking about marriage. When you date her, you'll finally trigger your mind for the new actions, like, because you'll need to earn more if you want to date a woman, and the more class this woman has, the more money you need. Like, it's rational. In your case, it will be really, really productive, because you will finally feel like yourself. That's really important in your case. So take as much as responsibility as possible in your life. Plus, psychologically saying, work on your inner parent. Like, you need to heal this part, to look into this more. I recommend this book, like, to read it at least. Like, you will understand more what I'm talking about here. This is basically it. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and see you next time. Bye.